Hi, this is Dalia, and I'm part of the horticulture team here at Rogers Gardens. And today I want to talk to you about introducing fragrant plants into your garden. It is so important to have fragrance in your world, in your garden, in your life. That's why they call it aromatherapy. That's why a lot of times you hear people saying, you know, why don't you stop and smell the roses? So today I would like to see if I could maybe interest you in adding some of these beautiful fragrant plants into your garden. I want to start by adding vines to your garden. The first vine that I'd like to talk to you about is this one right here, which is Stephanotis. Stephanotis is a beautiful, waxy, white flower that has an amazing fragrance to it. They use these in the wedding bouquets, so they call it a wedding bouquet wax flower. This is wonderful in a partial shade area, and it blooms all spring and summer, and you can use it in your flower arrangements. The next one is going to be the star jasmine, which is very easy and fast growing. These little star flowers are very, very fragrant all spring, summer, and into fall. They will attract the hummingbirds, and they will definitely cover a wall in no time. The next one is this beautiful pink jasmine. This is just, oh my God, this is just so intense. This will take the full sun to the partial shade. It's a rambler, so it really is going to take over an area very quickly, but it's worth it. It goes kind of semi-dormant in the winter time. And then my last but not least are the sweet peas. Oh my gosh, these are so amazing. You've got to make sure to sow your seeds in October. And if you forgot to sow your seeds in October, you can always buy 4-inch plants or 6-inch plants in January or February and plant them there. They are wonderful vines, but they do need a support. But what a great cut flower in your vases, and what a beautiful gift to give to somebody that you love. The next thing I want to introduce you to are roses. There are so many fabulous fragrant roses that I didn't know which ones to pick, except for I decided to just start with my top 3 favorites. The tall varieties, the medium, and the short. And the very first one I want to tell you about is this one, which is a wow factor, which is Grand Dame. Grand Dame will get 6 to 7 feet tall. It is a statement piece. It blooms all year round. It is so fragrant, and when the plant gets established and opens up, this flower gets to be about twice the size of this. It is really a disease-resistant plant, and it makes a great backdrop for your rose garden. The next one is the medium-size roses. Twilight Zone is my favorite medium-size rose. It is a color of the royal purple prince's robe. It is just so beautiful. It is so fragrant. It blooms almost year-round, and it is disease-resistant. And it just really is a fabulous cut flower as well. My next pick for the shorter variety rose is Just Joey, which is a peaches and cream. This is so amazing. It is so fragrant and beautiful, and the flower is so huge and makes a wonderful 3-foot by 3-foot round hybrid tea rose. The next thing we're going to talk about are fragrant flowering shrubs. I love adding fragrant shrubs into the garden because there are so many that you can pick from. Tall, small, short, ground covers. These are just so happen to be my favorite because they're hardy. And the first one, if you've got a tropical garden, this one here is actually a very fragrant plant. It is called Michelia compacta. It has these beautiful white blooms that these haven't opened up yet, but boy, I'll tell you what, when these open up, your whole entire yard will be smelling fabulous just by one flower. This is a really big shrub, so it's going to get about 12 feet tall by about 5 or 6 feet wide and can take the shade or the sun. The next thing is, I don't want you to underestimate carnations. Carnations come in 6-packs. They turn into these wonderful, beautiful, oh my God, so fragrant flowers, and they do so well in the garden. These are great perennials. They're great to put in your borders. They're great to add in and amongst your established garden, and they're very, very easy to grow in the full sun. The next thing that I want to tell you about is my favorite, which is the California lilac, which is Buddleia. Buddleia is so fragrant. The hummingbirds and the butterflies love it. It's actually called a butterfly plant. There's many different colors, there's many different sizes, short, medium, tall, and this is a great addition to any fragrant garden because you can also cut this and bring this indoors and it makes a great cut flower. The next plant I want to tell you about is my favorite lavender, which is sweet lavender, Lavandula heterophylla. Lavandula heterophylla is amazing. It has these tall, beautiful, fragrant lavender flowers that make great sachets. This is the lavender that you want to use for your cooking, or if you're going to just spice up your lemonade. It makes a 3-foot by 3-foot shrub, and it doesn't get all leggy and woody, and I love, this is my favorite lavender if you're going to introduce this into your garden. My next one, if you guys love camellias, there's not a lot of camellias that are fragrant, but the Kramer's Supreme, this one here, is so fragrant. It has a huge triple red burgundy flower and makes a wonderful cut flower so you could actually float in a water vase. Anyways, it is just a spectacular plant for the shade. And it gets about 6 feet tall. My next favorite plant and hardy shrub is the Cestrum nocturnum. Cestrum nocturnum is actually a night blooming jasmine. It gets about 6 feet tall and about 5 feet wide if you let it, but you can control it by pruning it back after it blooms. It blooms in the nighttime, and I'll tell you what, one bloom on this thing will probably make your whole neighborhood smell good. I love using it. It's hardy and very easy to grow. I love gardenias. Gardenias are one of my favorite flowers to plant in the garden for fragrance. There's one gardenia that I love the most, and it is the hardiest and it does the best, and that is the grafted varieties. This particular one is the First Love grafted. It is very hardy. It'll bloom all spring and summer. It loves the full sun and it loves the acid-loving mix, and if you can give it those two things, I am telling you, you will have flowers as big as my hand, and they make a great cut flower, and sometimes I'll leave and walk out the door and just grab one and throw it in the back seat of my car, and I've got, you know, a wonderful gardenia smell all day long in my car. The next thing I want to talk to you about are my favorite herbs and bulbs. I want to start with this one right here, which is Prostanthera ovalifolia. And it is the Australian mint bush. This is a fabulous shrub in the garden. It smells so minty, and it is so wonderful if you have it as a shrub, maybe in and amongst your pathway where you could brush up against it and kind of have that smell all around your pants when you're walking around for the rest of the day. It makes a great cut foliage, so that when you're cutting your flowers to bring in the house, this is your foliage plant to use. The next things that I want to talk about are my favorite herbs, which this is a sage, and wonderful for cooking. It also makes a beautiful shrub. It is so fragrant. The next one is the lemon balm, which I love picking. Lemon balm is so wonderful for aromatherapy. Sometimes I like to just pick some leaves off and stick it in my pocket, and later on down the line in the daytime, when I need a picker-upper, I'll take it back out and I've got some aromatherapy. The next one is the lemon thyme. I love lemon thyme. I love the way it smells. I love using it in my cooking. I love it as a border in my landscape. This is a great herb to add. It just is so fragrant and beautiful. And then there is the lemon verbena, which I love lemon verbena. You can use these wonderful lemony foliage right into your iced tea. This makes a wonderful addition to any fragrant herbal garden. The next one is my favorite, which is the pineapple sage. Pineapple sage blooms red, lots and lots of red blooms. So the hummingbirds love it. And then you also get a chance to have this amazing fragrant foliage all throughout the year. This makes a great shrub. And then of course you can never go wrong with adding mint. Now when you're adding mint to your garden, you should always add it in a pot. Container gardening for your mint, because if you put it in the ground, it'll take over. But this is great for your salads, it's great for your teas. Oh my gosh, there is nothing that could be wrong about adding mint into the garden. The next thing I want to introduce you to is my 3 favorite bulbs. Bulbs are very easy to grow. My first one is a rhizome bulb, which is the iris, which is very easy. It needs the full sun. But even the foliage is really beautiful when it's not blooming. But when it is blooming, look at this. This is spectacular. It is, oh my gosh, so fragrant. This is just like wow in a vase when you put it in the house. And it also is just very easy to grow. I highly recommend using the reblooming irises, which are also called frequent flyers. The next bulb that I love are the Casablanca lilies. You can't go wrong with the lilies. These are very easy to grow, and when they're done blooming, you just cut them down to the ground and they will come up and bloom for you every year. The next one is, you can never go wrong with lots of freesias. Freesias are fabulous. I love adding freesia bulbs into my garden. They multiply and you get more and more of them every year. They come in tons of different colors. They are so fragrant and so beautiful and make a fabulous cut flower. Now remember, it is so important to slow down and bring some fragrance into your world. It is so nice to sit back and enjoy all of the elements that you have in your life and in your world and in your surroundings, especially when you're adding fragrant plants into your garden. Why don't you come on down? Rogers Gardens brings beauty into your home and garden.